How the devil are you? Poof! Right, what have I got for you today? Well, I'll tell you what I've got. Otherwise, what's the point of this video? Look, I've got the Arylic B50. Now, this has got more connections than you can shake a stick at. So anyway, let's get it out of the box, do a little bit of unboxing, have a look what's inside, and then we put it through its paces. Ooh. Okay, let's get it out. Let's have a look. And when I say get it out, I do mean the amplifier, okay? Nothing else. All right, so we got some paperwork here. Oh, this is how to do the Bluetooth. What else we got? Some instructions there. And what we got in there? We got the amplifier itself. Get that out of there. And it looks like we got the remote, the antennas, the power lead and the power brick. Oh, let's see if we can get that out of there. I gotta say, these manufacturers in China, they are making, I mean, not that the box matters a toss, does it really? But they do package them very well, and they look very well packed. You know what I mean? But maybe it's not very eco-friendly, but very well packed. Okay, let's have a look. There we go. There's the remote there. The two antennas, aerials for the Bluetooth. One up over there. And there's the power brick. Now this is, I believe, 24 volt. Where does it say? Yeah, 24 volt. Bop, there. Now on the website, it does say you can have an optional power supply of 32. But I'm not sure. I'm going to have a look at the instructions in more depth to see if it can be upgraded to a 32. On the website it says it, but we'll wait and see. Remote, it's all right. Let's bring it up here. It's got a very busy remote. Everything you need is on there. And what I like about this, but a lot of other amps don't have, is they've got the bass and the treble on there. So you can turn it up and down. Well, that's pretty good, isn't it? Play, volume, back and forth, mute. I think that's TX pair, transmit, pairing, phone in, all the stuff you need. Oh, actually, on down here, look, it's got some preset graphic equalizers, flat, classic, pop, vocal, rock, jazz. It also has an app, which I'll show you later on. Let's have a look at the amp itself anyway. Let's have a look. If I can get it flipping out of here. There you go, smash it to bits. So, on the front, we've got a toggle switch. Doink, boink. Okay, you've got a volume control. Now I believe this doubles as the mode selector. So you can press it. S, O, S. I probably just told someone to F off in Morse code. And then you've got all your modes here. You've got standby, Bluetooth, line in, phono, optical, ARC, USB, DAC. Jesus. Okay. It's not badly made. It's quite solid. Everything feels, you know, decent and like it's not going to fall off. So that's a good thing. On the bottom, you got some of these things here that they're hard plastic. I would prefer them to be maybe rubber rather than hard plastic, because it gives more sort of vibration cushioning, but it is what it is, isn't it? There you've got your aerials there for the Bluetooth attachments. Get your speakers in. Now, if it's like the other amps here that I've had, the Chinese amps, you're better off using banana plugs for these, because I'll take a picture of that. Let's have a look if you can see it. Can I get it? How close can I get it? The holes in these aren't very big. So you're not going to get, 12 gauge wire through them. It's unlikely. Okay, so if you have got 12 gauge cable, be aware you're going to need banana plugs. You've got your phono with your ground screw here, your line in. You've got a subwoofer out, so you can do a 2.1 system. So that's pretty good. Optical in. You've got a HDMI ARC. Now with the HDMI ARC, it is only PCM. I'll talk about that later in the video. You've got USB in, you've got your DAC, well that's your connection. So it's a USB-C from a PC or a laptop, and you've got a reset button there. I don't know why you need reset. It may just reset it to put all the settings back to normal. There we are. Okay, so here's the app. It's a basic app, but it does what it does, and it does it all right. It connects via Bluetooth, not Wi-Fi, but it's a stable connection. I've had no problems with it at all. At the top, you've got play, pause, forward and skip, whatever. Then you've got your volume, yoink. Okay, and you've got click to pair, so you can pair it with two devices. You can transmit the two devices, and also you can have two sources going to the amp. So that's pretty good. Then you've got your sources, Bluetooth, line in, phono, optical, ARC, USB, and USB DAC. Then you've got an EQ. Come on. Okay. So your EQ, treble, mid, bass, balance. Don't know what max volume, there must be my phone, that max volume. Then you've got your crossover, and that's for your subwoofer. So it's a low pass filter. Then you've got deep bass on the bottom here. Which it does boost the bass. It's a little bit like a loudness button, so I suppose it would be good at low listening. But unlike a loudness button, it doesn't boost the top end, it only boosts the bass. And also, you've got some presets here, which were also on the remote itself. So you've got flat, classical, pop, jazz, rock, vocal. I actually liked the classical preset. It sounded really, really good. Boosted the bass and the treble a little bit. Brought the mids a bit more forward. I really enjoyed the classical. So that was my favourite one. And just there you've got some things about the device, the settings, and you've got the manual just here. So you can download the manual then. See the manual there. Yoink. Okay. And you can go dark or light. Ain't doing it for me. Emitting it, but nothing's happening. There we are. Probably because I got use system settings. There we go. Take off use system settings, and I can go dark. Scary. Okay, go back to light. I just use system settings again. Also check that you've got the right firmware version. This comes with the version app 10.2 or 1.0.2, I should say, and the firmware version here you can see there. Because the older version, I think there was some problems with the CEC HDMI link, but they've been sorted with the firmware, this new firmware version. So make sure you got the up-to-date. The ones they're sending out now, I think have got this up-to-date version, so you should be okay. Now I'm quite interested to what DAC it's using and what the op amp is, because in the leaflets and online it doesn't say what it is. It says about the Qualcomm chip for the Bluetooth, but nothing else. So, hey, I gotta know what's in there. I just gotta know. So I'm gonna take off the lid, have a little look inside and see if I can find what's going on. So I got my screwdriver. It looks like there's 4 nuts on the front and a couple on the side I need to take off, and bam, I'm in there. So let's have a look what's inside. Considering how many connections there is, there's not really a lot going on, is there? No, I'm no expert in what it's inside here. It's only got a small heatsink. It's a Class D amp. You don't really need a big heatsink in a Class D. It doesn't get very hot. Now, I had real trouble finding the DAC in this. I don't know if it's this blank thing here. I have no idea, but I couldn't find it. I did find it uses a JRC 4558 dual op amp. It also uses an MV silicone BP1048B2 Bluetooth 5 dual mode DSP chip, and that must be for the AAC and SBC, I think, handling that. And also I think is that there, that might be there, might be the Qualcomm. That's the Qualcomm QCC 3040 for aptX HD. But flipping heck, I couldn't find the DAC in there. So I don't know what it is, whether it's a Texas Instruments. Probably it is, I don't know. But I couldn't flipping find it. If anybody knows what DAC it's using, please let me know in the comments. We've looked on the front. We've looked on the back at all the connections. We've looked at the app. We've even had a look inside. What? But that's all very well and good if it sounds rubbish. So obviously I got to do a sound test. Now what I've done, rather than just test the sound of this on its own, I put it up against my Yamaha AS500. Now the Yamaha AS500 is kind of my reference amp. I love that amp, I love the way it sounds. It's a very decent playing amplifier. So if this could compete with it, then fair play. If it can't, then obviously not. So what I've done, I've playing from the CD player via RCA into the back of these amps. So it's the CD player's DAC that's doing all the heavy lifting, going straight into line in on both these amps. So anyway, stop blamming on, Matt. Shut up. You shut up. No, you. And let's listen to the sound test.
I never answer to no, man, I still go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, on the highway, and in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain.
you go. What do you think? Now, in my personal opinion, I think the Yamaha was better than this, but not by a huge margin. The Yamaha was a bit more forward, a little bit more spacious, more open, sound stage better. It was just overall better, but extremely close. It wasn't a huge gulf in difference, not day and night. This performed admirably, and I have to say, if I was just starting out and I wanted to pay £150 just for a 2-channel stereo amp, that's pretty good value for money. And then everything else is a bonus on it. Do you know what I mean? Because it sounds really good for a small Class D amp. I didn't feel it had that harshness of a Class D amp that some Class D amps have. It performed very well. But what about all the other inputs? Well, I've put them through the ringer as well. Now I have made a few notes. I write like a doctor, okay, so I'm not sure if even I can understand this. Right, now I put it all down because sometimes, especially with all these outputs and or inputs, it's hard to remember them all. So when I'm listening to it, I kind of critically write down a few little notes, you know, to see just a few findings I write down so I can remember it, you know, in my noggin. Okay, so let's start with the DAC, the DAC input from the laptop. So I used it from my laptop, and it's not bad, it performed pretty good, but it can be a little harsh at times on the top end. So I played AC/DC. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. But in that, there's like some, it may be like a synthesizer or something, but it sounds like bagpipes, okay? I don't think they're real bagpipes. And when they were playing, it was a little bit like, oof, little bit shrill, just a little bit. So the DAC performs okay, but I doubt it's the best DAC in the world that's in there. So the DAC will be used for probably the USB input from a laptop or via the optical. So it was okay. Performed okay, but personally I prefer to use an external DAC if I was going to use them inputs. I found it sounded much better from my Topping E50. Now the Bluetooth, I don't know, was pretty good. The aptX or aptX or aptX performed pretty well. I'm not much of a Bluetooth user. I prefer streaming. Wi-Fi is better. Get a better sound off that. But I got to say the Bluetooth on this was really good. So much so that I could sit down, relax, and enjoy the music. And I Bluetoothed it from my phone using Amazon HD Music straight to this, and I sat back and enjoyed it and thought, hey, this isn't bad at all. You know, I've listened to some Bluetooth before, and it's like, but this was good. Anyway, now you can, I think I mentioned it before, you can transmit and receive from 2 devices. So that is pretty good. Okay. Now, you can put a USB drive in there, USB stick, whatever you want to call it. Now, here's the thing. It sounded okay. Nothing wrong with the sound of it. It sounded all right. But the problem is, you can't see what tracks are on there. On the app, there's nothing in the app to have a look. You select USB, but there's no track listing or file listing, so it's a bit pointless, really. It just literally plays the first track, and then you just skip to the next track, and you've got to guess what it is. So if you know what album it is, you go, oh, okay, track 2. So you're like, let's play a game. What tracks come in next? I don't know. So it's a little bit weird to do that. It's a bit odd to put that in. I would have just left it out completely because it is pointless. It does remember what track you was on. If you leave the USB stick plugged in and you've played 3 tracks, it'll start back from where you were before when you go back into it. So that's okay, but you really need to see the track listings. Come on, you do really. It's just silly. So I was a bit disappointed by that, although it did sound okay. Perhaps they may update it in future. I don't know. But there we are. Okay, what's next? Now the HDMI ARC. Oh. Now, obviously this only works with PCM. You can't get Dolby on it or anything like that. Which people go, oh, well, I'm not getting it then. It's 150 quid. Come on, sort it out. It's 150 quid, right? It worked well with CEC. I didn't notice any lag at all. Look, it's not going to be as good as a dedicated receiver, but I guarantee you wouldn't find a 2.1 soundbar that sounded as good as this if you're using that with a subwoofer. No way. Even up to 300 or 400 quid, a 2.1 soundbar wouldn't sound as good as this. No chance. I don't think so. It may be one or two out there, but I've not heard one yet. But if you've got a dedicated receiver, you're probably going to have to pay, even for a cheap one, 250 to 300 for a Sony or Yami, sorry. And they're not very good. And for 2-channel stereo, they are a bit shite. Okay, so, you know, this performed good. I will say that the voices were a little recessed at times, and I was like, oh, I can hear it, but it needs to be a bit clearer. And then I went, duh, I got to use the graphic equalizer presets. So I went in and just changed it to voices, to vocal, and that improved it. So it was listenable then. So problem solved. Now don't forget that if you are using this with your TV, excuse me, you will need to change your settings in your TV. You've got an LG TV. You've got to go into your settings, make sure CEC is turned on, and also make sure it's set to PCM. Now I had it on auto and it still didn't pick it up. There was no sound. I had to go in and actually change it to PCM. So remember that. Now, the thing that let it down the most, I would say it's the phono stage. It's average to okay. It's probably like one of those phono stages you get in a 150 to 200 pound record player that's got a built-in phono stage. It's adequate. It does the job. It plays the records, but compared to an external phono amp, it's not even close. But like I said, if you're starting out and your record player hasn't got a phono stage, then it's very useful to just connect it up. If you just want to just casually listen to records while you're doing the cooking or whatever, then you can. So it's adequate, but not great. Oh, I meant to mention as well, earlier in the video, I said, it's possible, it said on the website that you can actually upgrade the power supply to 32 volt. Now, on the website it says it, but none of the literature that comes with the amp says you can do it. So I'm not sure about that. So if you do intend to get this and upgrade it to 32 volt, maybe write to the company and just check first. Okay, I don't want you blowing up or setting fire to your house or something. And the power in this, I forgot to mention this as well, is 50 watts into 4 ohms and 30 watts into 8 ohms. Now many people will think, well, it's not very powerful, but it drove my Dali Oberons fine, no problemo at all. I also tried them with some bookshelf speakers, the Cambridge Audio S30s, I believe, just to see what it sounded like on bookshelves, drove them fine, and went pretty loud. So it was fine, it had no problem. Maybe if you've got really power hungry, very high wattage speakers, it might not perform, but anything for 100 up to 150 watts, it should do okay. It should do okay. Anyway, that's that. So what are my final thoughts? Well, I'll tell you what they are, okay? I think it's a very capable amp, and for the price, you get a lot for your money, a lot for your money. It's got a few little niggles, but like I said, you're getting a lot for your money, and you think about it, you buy a 2.1 soundbar for 200 quid, it ain't gonna sound as good as this. And you want to, you know, it's just not going. It's not going to. I think it's a very capable amp, and really good as a 2-channel stereo amp. So there you go. that's come to the end of the video. If you got this far, you must have liked the video, so give it a like. And also, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, sort it out, alright? Subscribe to the channel, come on. Get it. Go and click on it. Doof, bam, wallop. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.